What's up? Let's check that mic just to make sure it is live and hot because my software has been weird lately. Oh, yeah, we're good. We're good, baby. We got it. All right, guys, today we've got quite a show lined up. We're going to be talking about a lot of really cool stuff, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. We really are. And got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. It's been a weird week out there in the wide world of internet sports, and we're going to get into some of it. So today, the first hour and a half will be me monologuing, and then after that, I'll have some people up, or maybe not. Hadn't really decided. Also depends on how many people show up. You know, it is Friday afternoon. Got a lot of stuff going on. I don't know how long I'm going to hang on after the monologue because I'm going to I have to pick my son up, and we're going to go and do some we're going to go break some clays, get him some practice in. Got a lot of stuff to do, so want to make sure that we get it done. And then I will be back tonight. I will be starting early tonight, I believe instead of 8, I think I'm going to start at 7. Because I'm going to do an episode of Gun Prattle from about 7 to about 7:50, 10 till 8, whatever you want to call it. And once I'm done with Gun Prattle, we're going to switch right into the normal Friday night episode of An Unreasonable Man. In the meantime, we're all here, and we're going to talk about we're going to kind of take it back to my roots. We're going to talk red pill. We're going to talk about feminism. We're going to talk about all the things that make America great. Yeah, there's a great clay shoot there in Marble Falls. That's true. Where I was out there in Burnett, Texas. I ran into Marble Falls while I was there. I did go into Marble Falls. I used to shoot at a place called Copperhead Creek, and since I have been there, they've stopped doing their 3-gun match there, which was a great one, but it's fine. Copperhead Creek, I believe, is a semi-private club. And anyway, so we're going to go shoot some clays today. My son and I, he needs to practice up. Got regionals, and in state, got state coming up. We're going to have to practice hard for that. So we got a lot of stuff going on here today, and we really got to get it going on. So, give me 1 second, guys. I gotta pull my notes up. I'm not very good at pulling my notes up. So anyway. Drive by it every day lately. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I like Copperhead Creek. It's solid. It's solid. All right, so kind of going back to the roots here of when I came into this space. A lot of people perceived or thought that I was red pill, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the red pill, where it is today. We're going to be talking about my actual positions, and we're going to talk about some of the things that new people to the show may not really realize. I'm also going to talk about well, let me hold on for a minute. So today, what we're going to talk about in the sense of red pills, that I'm patriarchal. I don't sugarcoat it. I'm not into apologetics. It's just straight patriarchal common sense, normality in a world gone fucking insane. Today we're going to be talking about the quiet movement away from a revolution, if you will, from the red pill, where it kind of blew up a few years ago and became this really big thing. and we're going to talk about how that relates to how men and women relate to each other and how that's changing and what effect maybe the red pills had. We're going to talk about how the law, despite what red pill says, how the laws are catching up and men are more fairly represented in court, in society, and other aspects, and why feminism's war on the family, obviously has been killing the birth rates and stability and a bunch of other things. And of course, I'm anti-feminist for the most part, and that may upset some of you people. Please be cool. What's up, Book of RLM? Good to see you. Give me a second. We will have you up here in just a minute as I'll re-outline the show here in a second. Let me just kind of keep going here. And then we're gonna be talking about China's latest power play, as some people are calling it, in the Strait of Hormuz, sending in warships to guard their ships moving in and out. And we're going to talk about why the left is claiming one thing when the reality is something else. And then we're going to wrap it up today with the circus that is gerrymandering in Virginia and Florida and Texas and half the damn country, to be honest with you. And it's going to turn every state courthouse into a battlefield ahead of the 26 midterms. And nobody saw this coming. I didn't see it coming. I don't think anybody saw it coming in the way that it is, but buckle up, Buttercup, because we're going to talk about it. All right. So the first thing we got to talk about is who all is here. Welcome in to everybody who showed up and showed up early. Glare 1%er is out there in the chat. Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. We had a little discussion as everybody's coming in. Johnny Dollar's out there. Work Academic is out there. He's got some weirdness about what he thinks. Andrew said, my man, Angel Berber, Envoy of Justice, is out there. The Book of RLM is out there. Good to see all of you guys coming out. And, comment in the chat. I may not have time to read it because I am going to be moving quickly through this for the first hour or so. For everyone who's coming in now, we're going to do about an hour and a half of monologue here because I got a lot to cover, and then I'll have some people up. Again, the way I do things is different than everybody else. I don't actually do a panel per se. I just have one or two people up at a time, and we have good discussions. I am cutting out a little early because I'm taking my son to break some clays, get some shooting in ahead of practice next week. He hasn't shot in a week, so we need to get him back in. And now I got to start the show. So let me take you back 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And this thing emerges onto the market. It's been there for a while, but it just breaks free. It's called the red pill. Red pill, blue pill. Wake up, stay asleep. Wake up, stay asleep. Now, the manosphere, whatever that is, and the red pill crowd are linked together, okay? And the red pill crowd has sold us a lot of half-truths. Now, I'm going to say that, and I've said this my entire YouTube career, and I say this in person. I say this all the time. This is my stance. Nobody can deny it. But the red pill sold us a bunch of half-truth about women's body count matters, hypergamy is real, become a high-value man with money and muscles and game. Got to get that game on point, bro. And then so you can spin the plates to avoid divorce, or the divorce trap. That's what they would call it, the divorce trap, right? Because women marry men to divorce them, which is, that in and of itself is fucking insane. Now, there is truth. There's truth to this, okay? There is. And modern dating is a mess. It is a fucking mess. Because the descriptors that are given by the red pill to the manosphere, to the people, to the public, there's some good shit there. I agree. Be better humans. If you're a man, get your money right. If you're a man, be kind to women. Be a better dude. Dress well. Don't dress like you just woke up and rolled out of bed and walked out into the fucking yard. Don't dress like you live in a barnyard, unless you actually do live in a barnyard. And then, okay, fair enough. Work out a little bit. Stay in shape. Some kind of shape. Like, I'm not in the best shape. I was injured for a couple of years. I gained a lot of weight, but even before that, I was still 10 pounds overweight, I don't know about having game, right? I think that game often backfires and brings you the wrong women, whereas just even being an awkward motherfucker can get you the best woman on the planet. You don't know because you haven't tried. These are all accurate descriptors. You want security. That's women want to be taken care of. Yes, they do. The most feminist woman on the planet still wants to be taken care of, deep down. The red pill will say that modern dating is a mess because feminism sold women the lie that they can have it all without consequences. At the same time, red pill can't exist without feminism, because to go out and bang a bunch of women, to go out and be this high value man and have women dripping off of them, you are counting on women of low morality and low character. And yes, feminism. You can't have red pill dudes going out there banging everything in sight without a bunch of feminist loose ass women. It's in the math don't math otherwise. And this is simple. This is a very simple equation. Yes, Glare 1%. Everyone should be the best version of themselves at all times. Yes. And that version of yourself may not be very good. But as long as it's the authentic best version of yourself at that moment, you're okay. I think you're good. I think you're okay. Women were sold a lie by feminism that they could have it all without consequences. That was a lie. We all know it's a lie. Anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together knows that that's a lie. And women ate it up. They're still eating it up. They still believe that shit. They still think it is true. Feminists do. And even people that aren't feminist deep down still kind of believe that. They can have it all without the consequences. And that is a lie. We're going to get into that a little better here in a minute. But the red pill fix, as it is, it's transactional cynicism. It's all transaction. I'll bang you and I'll pay for your ride home. You get to live in my big ass house, but you got to suck my dick every day. Transactional. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Yeah, my camera's going to fuck around with me today. That's okay. That is not a fix. It isn't. Chase this concept of sexual market value, right? What? That's dumb. Treat relationships like a cost-benefit equation. Run balance sheets on your relationships. What that actually leads to, ladies and gentlemen, is narcissism, cynicism, and eventually MGTOW. Because just because you can get your dick wet doesn't mean you're building a relationship. It doesn't mean that there's any value in the relationship that you're building. Now, I understand that I'm using some foul language and some rhetoric that you may not like to hear in your ears. However, I'm right, and nothing else matters. It doesn't matter the language I use. I don't care if your precious ears are offended. I don't care if you have to turn the volume down because your children are in a room. I'm right, and I'm not going to change it. Red pill leads to narcissism, balance sheet transactional relationships, low marriage rates, MGTOW, and just in general, men and women checking out of society while society crumbles and it needs them the most. When it needs families the most, when it needs humanity the most, red pill is torpedoing all that shit. Not red pill in and of itself. Again, red pill as a descriptor is for a man living his life, not really a problem. Red pill, the way that these ridiculous people interpret it and sell their programs and talk about all of this other stuff, where they give prescriptors for what it ought be, that is truly fucked up and wrong. True patriarchy is the way. True patriarchy isn't a pickup strategy. It's not a scoreboard with notches on it. It's not a bedpost that looks like a beaver got to work on it. It's an ordered hierarchy. It's rooted in responsibility and accountability. You hear me say this a lot, accountability. That's for both sexes. Both. Men lead, provide, protect, and set the moral standard. Let's talk about that for a minute. Men lead, not just in their homes, but in the workforce, in their everyday lives. Either you lead, you follow, or you get the fuck out of the way. That's how it works. There is no third choice, fourth choice, fifth choice. That's it. That's it. You can lead by being a great follower. You really can. I'm not lying. You can provide not only for your family, but for your community. You can protect your community, not just with physical force, but or physical, just not with strength, but with strength of values. The way you vote, who you associate with, how you conduct yourself in society protects society. This sets a moral standard. You fuck up, you have kids out of wedlock, you take responsibility, you marry the woman. You don't want to marry that woman? Fine. You take care of the kids. You lead by taking care of those kids. This means owning your family, owning your faith, staying faithful to what you believe in, disciplining your children, having discipline for yourself, ultimately building something that outlasts you outlast your family, outlast your neighbors, outlast everything. It's part of the community at that point. Red pill does none of that shit. None. Women thrive under that sort of leadership. They submit to a worthy husband, as they should. They embrace their God-given femininity, which is the most beautiful thing in the world. When you prioritize home and children and not fame, fortune, and sex and addiction, life is better. And women, when they do that, are magnificent. When women prioritize their home, their children, they reject the whims of society. My camera just jacked up. That's terrible. They're magnificent. They really are. All right, stand by while I fix this camera. I don't know what's, that was weird. Don't know why that did that. All right. There we go. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. Okay. Where was I? Yes, women are magnificent. Women are magnificent creatures. Wonderful. Some women will reject career. That's fine. Some women will embrace career. That's fine too, as long as, everything else is taken care of. When men support their wives, provide, protect, and lead, set a moral standard, women will reject this you go girl poison that leaves them at 35, childless, wondering where the good men went, why they can't get a decent date, why, literally it's all hookup culture for them. And those women are not happy. They're not satisfied in life. Where have all the good men gone? To someone who didn't act like you. That simple. That's not bashing on women. Men are the same way. Men who fuck around all throughout their lives often end up single and alone as well. I know tons of single and alone dudes. I agree with Anson Knowles. 35 and childless women are all whack jobs due to pathological lack of accountability and the lack of a sense of fulfillment in their lives. There's got to be standards, right? We have to have standards. Most people don't like to talk about standards because they don't want to have to meet a standard. They want to slide. They want a built-in excuse, a lack of accountability. But standards for men: be the rock, provide spiritually, financially, supportive, lead with competence, not cruelty, right? Like, how many men do you know that think they're leading when all they're really doing is yelling? All they're really doing is a caricature of what they think a leader is, but that's not really what a leader is. Now, a lot of men will say, a lot of women especially will say, that men should be sexually pure before marriage, save themselves. I don't know that that matters. Certainly it helps. But regardless of whether that's the truth or not, once you commit, you have to stay faithful. You have to hold yourself accountable for everything you do. There's nothing that annoys me more than to be out with someone for a business meeting or, trying to have a lunch meeting to figure out what we've got going on. Maybe we're going to do business with this person. There's nothing that literally makes me want to do business with somebody less than them flirting with the waitress, checking out some chick's ass, or saying, I'd like to see that bent over. Nothing annoys me more than that kind of childish ass behavior from a married man. If you think that, fine. If you want to say something like, that's an attractive woman, making an observation is cool. But leering, nah, bro. We probably won't be able to do business together. Stay faithful after marriage. Stay faithful before marriage. Some people like long engagements. Teach your sons strength and your daughters virtue. Try and show them what true nobility is, not, bestowed upon nobility, but what it means to be noble. My son does this. My son opens doors for people. He says, please, thank you. If he says he's going to be somewhere, he shows up. He buys other people, other kids, less fortunate than him, he'll buy them lunch. He's done it multiple times on school trips and stuff, where maybe, their parents only gave them X amount of money. My son's like, I got you. Men in a dating world, and if you're actually dating, pay the check. If you're actually dating. Now, if you're not dating, if you're just going out for that first date or coffee or whatever, yeah, okay, whatever. But after that, pay the fucking check. Make decisions and stick to them. It's important. A lot of men these days can't make a fucking decision. They can't. They sit there and waffle back, forth, and sideways. Change your mind with the wind. Do better. Gotta do better. There's no such thing as this equal partners nonsense or partners. My wife is not my partner. My wife is my wife. Teach your sons to be the head of a household, to be a man. And we got to talk about women. I think that most women in this world today understand that chastity and fidelity really aren't optional, right? Men prefer chaste women. They'll obviously bang anything that moves, most of them, but value chastity. We especially value fidelity. No man wants a woman running around on him, flirting with everything. No, that's not attractive. I can't really speak a lot because I'm not a woman, right? I think women should choose men that are worthy of following, not a fun date or fun beta, as they call them. Is that what they're calling them now? I think they're calling them fun betas, right? Like they're just kind of, easy for women to dominate because they've never had like a real girlfriend, I guess. Train yourself to be nurturing. So when you have a family, you know what to do, how to raise kids, how to raise young men and women, the next generation. Plan for that. Don't just sit around and act like you know what you're doing or that you'll figure it out when you get there. I hate that. I hear that so many times. I talk to these young people and they're like, yeah, I'm like, hey, what about kids? I love my kids. My kids are awesome. I didn't have kids until late in life on purpose. And it's just amazing. What are you going to do about kids? How do you feel about it? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. What the fuck is that? You figure it out? It's crazy. You got to reject the feminist script. Don't have your boobs hanging out. Dress modestly, right? Something to the imagination is a real thing. I don't know. Can't really say much more about women themselves. It's not nostalgia either. I know what some of you guys are thinking. That old guy up there, he's just looking for the olden days. No. I'm trying to tell you what the reality is, right? I've been watching people get divorced my whole life. I remember when I went to high school and all the seniors that would, they graduated and then 2 weeks later they're married. 3 years later, if they made it that long, they're divorced. They got 2 kids, pile of bills, I watched all that shit. I have friends of mine on their 3rd wife. Fucking miserable. Make tons of money, but they have to because they have to pay child support for 3 different kids. Multiple divorces or baby mamas. This is crazy. Stop it. And this is not the natural order of things. This is not society being society. This is a bunch of cancerous feminist nonsense. It's bad enough the men follow this bullshit too, thinking that they can just go bang whatever they want without consequence. Young men, if you don't realize that every time you stick your dick in some crazy chick, you can get her pregnant, you need to talk to your dad. If you can't talk to your dad, you need to talk to your clergy. If you can't talk to your clergy, well, brother, phone a friend because you need some help. Don't stick your dick in crazy because you could end up a father. If you're not willing to father a child with that girl, don't stick your dick in that girl. That's simple. I can't make it any simpler than that. I'm not citing any biblical reference. I'm not talking from a Christian point of view. I'm talking about just don't fucking do it. It's not smart. In good news, in the good news column, men are finally getting traction in the courts. Here's the good news. Culture and the courts, more importantly, are slowly but surely rejecting this feminist family court racket, the scam. The scam that is divorce, custody, all that nonsense, right? More states, matter of fact, I think almost the majority, maybe the vast majority of states have now moved to a presumptive 50-50 shared custody and an allocation of parental responsibilities instead of automatically handing the kids over to the mom and giving dad some amount of money that he has to pay every month like he's an ATM. This is actually, we can see working in real time. Kentucky, for example, I usually pick on Tennessee, but I'll pick on Kentucky here for a minute. Kentucky's reforms, just for example, have already dropped divorce rates by about 25% because fathers aren't treated like ATMs and become strangers in their parents' lives. And you see similar things happening in Florida, Arkansas, West Virginia, Missouri, Tennessee. Tennessee now has a covenant marriage on the books, and so we're getting a lot of really good stuff there. And this is restoring the presumption that both parents matter, that men are not just semen donors and women are not victims of aggressive men. Sometimes they are, sure. I'm not going to deny that, but this is how it is. And there's no more best interest of the child. Oh, wait, I forgot. Best interest of the child being code for mom wins, dad loses. It's the greatest thing. It's awesome. So we got that going on. And this is a patriarch. I'm sorry, guys. My phone, I forgot to mute my phone. I do apologize. You would think I would automatically do it, but you would be wrong. And it's just sitting over there beeping away. I don't know if you could hear it, but I could, and it was bothering me. So here we go. All right. So when are we getting a me versus Brian Shapiro debate? Probably never. I don't debate stupid people. That's dumb. That he's out there, man. He's just not smart. So getting back to my camera freaking out. It's weird. Let me see if I can fix that with this. Yeah, maybe that'll do it. All right. So, I have been doing very well. Hello, Naomi. How are you? Hello, Void Ace. Hello, Joseph. What's up, Economic Cost, which is Ants and Knowles. My points are stuck on buffer from 2 years ago. No, they're not. They're just more I can just prove them better now. Johnny Dollar is here. After 30 years, we have had our ups and downs. Oh, you've been married for 30 years. That's awesome. I've been married for 20. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to get back on topic here. I apologize. I got distracted by my phone, by the camera, and by chat. All right, so now we have, let's talk about the accountability, right? This is just simply patriarchal. Men are stepping in as full parents, and the law is finally holding women accountable for the families that they help break up. Feminism's no fault divorce, girl boss, careerism, anti-male bias that they've cultivated in the court system for decades now, created a mess. Just, skyrocketing single motherhood, fatherless homes. We all know those families. And that which led to plummeting birth rates and now generations of damaged kids, which fortunately every single person in my audience probably has to deal with quite often. This feminist supremacy model doesn't build civilizations. It doesn't help the country. It doesn't do anything for society. It's just a net loss for everyone. And we got to stop it. Okay. Stop that shit. Just don't do it. How hard is it? Just don't do it. I'm glad to see the pushback that we're getting here. It's overdue, long overdue. And we need to, I'm glad that we're doing it. And that's, I don't know. There's a whole lot more I can say about it, right? Just the red pill is just not relevant anymore. It just isn't. I don't know that it ever was, but it had a great following. We can do better. Now, let's talk about this thing going on with China. So over in the Straits of Hormuz, by the way, again, as I said the other day, nobody ever heard of Straits of Hormuz until about 20 days ago, and now everybody's an expert on the Strait of Hormuz and what goes on there. So Trump is enforcing a naval blockade on Iranian shipping during this ceasefire, during the conflict, whatever you want to call it. And China is moving to protect its own energy fleet. Beijing, which is the biggest buyer of Iranian oil, has dispatched elements of its naval escort fleet, which is some destroyers and some light cruisers and things like that. And I believe their new type, I don't actually know the number, their new destroyer that they just had out, I guess, last year. And a new frigate, which is not a light cruiser. I think it's a little bit bigger than that. They're all headed right now towards the Gulf of Oman and then the Strait of Hormuz. What they're doing is not coming between the U.S. and their ships. They're protecting their ships from Iran lobbing missiles into them and or shooting them. Now, Iran will say that they're not the ones doing it, that it's Hezbollah or it's these other these Syrians or whatever, but it's Iran. Iran is shooting at ships moving in and out of the Strait of Hormuz, which they've done for a while now. Chinese tankers don't want to get shot at, and we have stated publicly we have no responsibility to these other ships in this area. And so China is just doing what I think any country should do, and that is protecting their interest. And so while China has openly criticized the U.S. And say that these this activity in the Straits is dangerous, and obviously it needs the oil moving through. And there's a lot of people who believe that this is a sign of Beijing flexing to secure its oil imports and signaling it won't sit idle while America controls the checkpoint or choke point, rather, of about 20% of global oil. But I think that's a very left-wing interpretation of what's going on. I think that's a very that's seriously not a real thing, I don't think. So we'll see, but they're not there to shoot at us. And so whatever you hear in the news, keep especially the lefty news, grain of salt, folks, grain of salt, because China's not there backing Iran at all. They're simply there to keep their ships from being attacked, and they don't necessarily trust America to protect their ships, because honestly, why would we? It's not our job. It's their job. They're doing exactly what I want every nation to do. Every nation should provide their own security. We literally should not be providing safety and security for English ships or Chinese ships or Panamanian ships. I don't give a. They're not our ships. We provide security for our ships. That's the way it works. What's up, Jake from State Farm? I apologize. I did not call you back yesterday. I got really busy and had kid stuff to do. I'll try and call you today before when I'm thinking about it. And now the last thing I want to talk about before I open this up is the gerrymandering that's going on all across the United States right now, seems like anyway, and the court fights and these map wars going on right now. So domestically, United States of America, these wars are in full swing right ahead of the 2026 midterms. We're in an unprecedented mid-decade redistricting cycle, which just happens to come before the midterms. I haven't trained this robot, Anson. I'm sorry. We'll have to help you. We'll have to work on that. We're redrawing congressional maps outside the normal 10-year census rhythm. It's gotten really interesting, in my opinion. We have Republicans in Texas, Missouri, North Carolina, Ohio, Florida, Virginia, and Democrats are obviously countering in California. So we're we've the Republicans have pushed very aggressive new maps to flip seats and protect their House edge, especially. And a lot of it is a long time coming. I believe Louisiana just actually the other day had a turnover of their racially mandated gerrymandering as unconstitutional. And that is awesome. That is amazing. It's great. So this was the Supreme Court heard the case just the other day. I think 3 days ago. The case is Louisiana versus Calais, something like that. The court struck down Louisiana's congressional map as unconstitutional racial gerrymandering. That's crazy. It had created two majority black districts, effectively making it much harder, almost impossible, to challenge the maps under Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. So GOP-led states are already eyeing all of these special sessions to redraw and adjust minority districts without race as the dominant factor. And this potentially is a huge upside to Republicans and conservatives everywhere, because the leftists originally put these in they had these districts drawn this way, and some of the maps are just, when you look at some of these maps for districts, it's insane. And the reason it is because these were where this was where the Democrats had historically profiled voters, and which you're not technically allowed to do anymore. Now, we're netting more Republican seats, but ultimately it ought to be a lot more even no matter what. It ought to be more fair, which is why I think what we all want. There's a ton of litigation on this, lawyers making money hand over fist. Federal and state courts are clogged up with these claims over race, compactness, mid-decade timing, which I mentioned earlier, and a lot more. There's a ton of this stuff going on. And these pure partisan gerrymandering claims are basically, you can't justify them anymore, and at least federally. And so these battles are playing out state by state, and it's exciting. It's exciting. And the bottom line is that both sides are playing hardball for House control. Maps are being redrawn. They're being blocked. They're appealed. They're redrawn again. You don't know which district you're in. The fights are in and out of court. And the 2026 map will look very different than 2024, which jacks around with all of the predictions that have been coming out where the Democrats felt like they were going to win in a landslide. That may not happen now because of this redistricting. It's so exciting. It's amazing. So we're going to that's going to decide who will decide Congress. It's going to be awesome. Who controls Congress anyway. All right. So that's my monologue today, folks. And if you guys want to, if you are interested in coming up, the easiest way to come up and talk to me is to go to the Discord. I'll throw the link out in the chat. Let me just give me 1 second. I got to find it. There it is. The Discord. So I'm going to just throw this down here. There's the link to my Discord server. You go to the Discord server, you go to the waiting room, and you say, hey, I'd like a link. And if the mods vet you, or they know you, if you've been around for a while, if we know who you are, we know you're not going to come up here and do something rank, they'll give you they'll give you the link. Mods, the link is in the mod chat now. I just put it there. And let me see if I can do a link directly to the waiting room. I don't think I can. So you just have to go to the server and then go to the waiting room. You're welcome to come up as long as we can have a great, reasonable discussion or unreasonable discussion. That's fine. And it'll be fun. It'll be a great time. And I'd like to talk to some people today about my monologue. And all right, we got Joseph wants to come up. I'll go ahead and throw that out there. I was on stream with Joseph earlier today. I think he had some misconceptions about me. That's not hard to do in this day and time because we have a bunch of people out there that bullshit a lot. When you do click in, make sure your audio and video, if you're using video, is set properly. Otherwise, we'll waste time while you get that done. RLM, if you are still out there, hit me in the Discord. You were supposed to come up the other day. You weren't able to, and you're welcome to come up today. Anson, my monologue was awesome, and you know it. That's why you're still here, because it was awesome. All right, so Joseph has the link. RLM, if you're still out there, feel free to come up. If not, that's fine too. Anybody can actually come up, as long as you're not going to be stupid. And even then, you can be a little stupid. I didn't talk about how the U's are destroying the GOP and returning it to the party of Romney-Bush losers, because it's not happening. What's up, David Wayne? How are you, sir? What's up, So Loud? Good to see you from North Carolina. That's awesome. Good to see you. If you guys enjoyed the monologue today, please let me know. Say something in the chat or comment on the stream. So. Need to go back to the waiting room. The waiting room. Joseph, I sent you a link. Did I not send you the right link? Pretty sure. Yes, I did send you the right link. You click the link, and you should be able to come right in. Do not vote Democrat in November. Yeah, I DM'd you the link, Joseph. It's in your DMs. Not you have to accept the. You have to go to your accept DMs. Oh, cool! If you're driving and listening so loud, that's awesome. Don't die typing. Hard to find anything you disagreed with? Well, that's good, man. I'm glad you liked it. Or at least you agree with it. Again, guys, I'm going to fire up an episode of Gun Prattle at 7 o'clock tonight. I'm not interviewing anybody. We're just going to talk about, some of the upcoming matches I've got, some of the upcoming episodes that are going to be on Gun Prattle and how they're going to be released, and some other odds and ends. And then we'll fold that right into, we'll go from 7 to about 7:50. And then at 8 o'clock, I'm going to fire up An Unreasonable Man. So look for that. We'll be out there. We'll be doing some good things. As always, this show is supported by my wallet. And if you can, please donate. And if you can't, don't feel bad about that. That's okay. But if you do choose to support, I happily accept your support. You also don't have to talk about anything specific to this show. You could say, hey, I don't want to talk. I think your show was great today, and let's talk about X. And if I want to talk about it, that'll be great. Cool, Tootie Bug. I'm glad you were listening. My wallet is fat. It's not. I mean, it's not that. It's. Hey, what's up, a helping hound? Good to see you. What's there to talk about on that angle, Anson, other than you being unhappy? No, it's in your DMs, Joseph. Go to the top and see friend request or whatever, and it'll be there. What's up, Wicked Wally? If you want to come up, if anybody would like to come up and chat for a few minutes before we pull a plug on this, feel free to hit me up for the link directly, or go to the shed, go to the waiting room and ask for the link, and I will send it to you via DMs. Wally's actually a really good human. I've met Wally in person, and him and his lovely wife are great humans. Apparently, I was mentioned in somebody else's podcast last night, caught a stray, as they say. Not really sure why. I don't know why I was brought up, but some people just can't get over me. 25% Luddite. There you go. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, my camera just freaked out again. I don't know why it's doing that. I may switch cameras. I may switch cameras today. I do have a much cooler camera. I don't know if it's the camera or maybe the cable. It could be having some comm issues. Yeah, Wicked Wally, thank you very much, sir. I am one solid dude to hang out with. That's true. I'm beyond cool, actually. Super cool, as it were. You bring me up. That's cool. Joseph, how are you?
Hey man, sorry about that.
That's all right.
I rarely use Discord, so
I get that. I feel that. I'd never used it before I did this, so that was it.
Yeah, so sorry about earlier. I was a little triggered during that conversation.
Mm-hmm. You were triggered?
And I don't know if it was over the stream or if Orthodox Guy was talking to me, if he has some way to talk to me, like in a back channel where it's just the two of us. But
yeah, he does. He has a way to do it.
He was admonishing me for over speaking you and he was saying like, do it again and you're gone, something like that. And
he was in a bad mood today. He admitted at the end that he was he was he's really upset about something. Then he was dealing with it, and he would so
that's understandable.
He ended the stream like we were talking, and he's just like, "Yep, I'm ending this. See ya, bye." So yeah, don't.
Yeah.
OG, while he and I don't agree on a lot, as far as policy or I mean, he's certainly got his his beliefs, and he's welcome to those. But we he's a good dude. He's been solid the whole time.
I don't disagree, and he pointed out that I'm very abrasive, and I understand that. So it's all good and well there, but I guess what I'm really curious about.
Abrasive. I mean, I feel like I'm typically more abrasive. I'm also just willing to just sit there and let people talk for however long they need to talk before I then just start in. But
yeah, that's a good quality to have. That's usually cultivated over time. We're not really born with that.
Patience is a virtue often denied to saints, which explains why so many people are sluts.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that one. I have to think about that.
Yeah, well, it is though. Patience is a virtue often denied to saints. That's why a lot of people are, they just don't have any patience because they're sluts. They just don't understand anything. They can be sluts for different things. You can be a slut for money. You can be a slut for sex. You can be a slut for whatever.
I feel like I could turn that into a rabbit hole that could go for a long time. So I'm just gonna let that be,
Sure.
But I'm just kind of curious of your point of view. Did you think I was using like some faulty form of logic when I was making that argument?
About what? You'll have to be more specific.
It was originally when it started when I was talking about tomatoes, if that helps jog your memory.
I mean, I don't remember specifically what you were talking about.
It was about flow in tomatoes.
Yeah, well,
and then,
it's about flow cutting her off, and the perception versus what the potential or what the actual reality is. Just one second, RLM. If you would like to come up, just go ahead and jump over to the Discord, and you can come up too. That's fine. I don't. It's that's fine. I'm glad that you like the monologue. So yeah, Joseph. the thing about a lot of things is there's no real it's odd to me that so many people get bent because they hear one side of an argument, or they hear part of somebody's complaint, or they see something and their perception is that it's an overreaction or something like that. But the reality is they don't know the whole backstory. This is why I personally try not to get too bent out of shape about anything. If I do, a lot of times I'll rein myself in. And it takes a very long time, right? Like this whole thing with, I can sit there and say somebody comes in my chat and says, hey, you can't be this. If this dude's here, I can't be here or whatever. You need to make a choice. And then I'm like, all right, that's weird. Now, a lot of people would be like, oh, fuck that guy. But then, to me, it's a cumulative effect, right? So I didn't really like Flow State, for example, much at all when we first met. I thought he was, honestly, I thought he was kind of a fake, just not an interesting character to me. And I didn't want to be his friend. And I had somebody else had told me that he was a bad guy and all that stuff. So I was like, I'm not really interested in dealing or talking to this person, right? And Flo and I kind of got into it, and it went on for like 6 months, I think. He tried to like draw me in, and I was just like, I don't want anything to do with this guy. But I was observing him, and I started to understand who he was, and he and I actually became friends. And now at this point, to be honest with you, I put Flow State almost in the same categories I do Andrew Wilson. I think that they have different worldviews, but they're both good dudes. Flow State, I don't want to put his business out there in the street, but I'll be honest with you. I think Flow State said many times, he has a daughter that he won custody of because her mom was a meth addict, right? He has sole custody of his daughter. He stepped up. He provides for his, I believe, I don't think they're married, but it doesn't matter. They live together. He provides for his wife, girlfriend, live-in, whatever you want to call her. He provides for his family as a man should. And in his private life, in his personal life, I believe he's a very conservative person who's made some missteps in life. He went to jail, he's a felon, but that period of his life doesn't determine the entirety of his life. It's weird to me how so many humans, and there goes my camera again. It's weird to me how so many humans can love the comeback stories, right? What am I looking for here? The redemption arcs. You go to a movie, and that's like one of the best plot devices is the redemption arc. This guy is is a great man, and then he becomes a drunkard, and then he loses everything, and then he gets inspired because of something, and he comes back, right? The redemption arc. But in real life, people don't like that. People will not give that benefit of the doubt, and I think that that's wrong. So what I know of the thing between Flow State and Sarah is probably private. I'm not going to get into it. I will just say that there's much more than what you should always assume. There's more backstory than what you see online, because you don't know what back chats there are. You don't know what private messages there are. You don't know if it was originally staged and then it wasn't. It's hard. And so that's why when someone, when you made the comment earlier that you thought it was just very capricious and unnecessary for Flo to respond the way he did, that's why I responded that, well, I don't think that you can make that judgment because all you see is 30 seconds of video.
I understand what you're saying, and there's some truth to it. But like, if I were to carry that over in other facets of my life, I wouldn't vote because I don't know what I don't know, right?
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. Fair
Certain
enough.
things are kept private because it's necessary to keep them private. So if all of those facets of life I
Yeah,
just
this is
choose to
why you vet
abstain
your
from,
politicians. Yeah, I mean, again, that's why you would vet your politicians. You would look at their records. You would look at how they voted. You wouldn't just listen to the campaign, right? You would go back and do your research if that's what you wanted.
and I'll also say, like, I don't think he's a bad guy. If I didn't respect somebody or thought they were like a rotten person, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be around them. A lot of times I leave when I see that type of behavior. And my overall point is that I think we treat people rotten. It was part of a broader point that this country is in worse shape than I think people realize. I think everybody is severely unhappy with their lives. So it was an overarching. Um, I don't remember how I got tied into that. Probably because it was just on my mind. But
Well, I
I
think
was on
that.
Tomatoes panel earlier. Oh, go ahead.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. Before you go much further, so I think when a man sees another man snub a woman and they don't know the whole story, they will almost always automatically side with the woman.
It's not a sighting issue. I just like so if you and I, let's say you and I built up a really good rapport over time, whether it was just transactional or there was some type of endearment going on.
Sure.
If that ends and there's no reciprocity towards like the what's it called where you grieve the end of a relation, whatever that's called, where you're grieving the end of a relationship. If you don't allow that reciprocity, the person who denies it, I think, is the person who
denies what? Trying to rebuild it?
Closure. Excuse me, that's the word I was looking for.
Over what?
Over ending a relationship where you think it's somebody cares about you ultimately.
Okay.
So if what were the person who was to deny that reciprocity or closure, let's just say, then that would be the person
be mad
in
at
the
Sarah,
wrong.
right? Because she's the one that kicked him off her stream. She's the one that banned him and all of that. I mean, he didn't ban himself, right?
Was that reactionary from her, or was that proactive?
Not be. He's just like, okay, I'm out of here. I don't want to be your friend anymore. So it would be reactionary, right? By definition. It could be preemptive, right? It could be, but that makes it even worse.
Okay.
I mean,
I just wanted to understand where you're coming from, and if it is that simple, I think it's a little stinky, but it is what it is. Not gonna.
Well, again, I think
deal about it.
If we're really honest, I think most men, when they see something happen between a man and a woman, without knowing any more information about it than, hey, that man just snubbed that woman, we tend to side with the woman. It's just, I think it's human nature. I think it's you can call it chivalry, you can call it a bunch of different things, but I think it's just human nature to do that. Men want to protect women. And I
don't think I'm being biased here though, because prior to going on her panel that night, I was airing some grievances on how she treats her people. Like when she says, "Do your job and give me money," I think that's really condescending and arrogant, entitled, and a bit aloof. Where it's kind of like a false sense of grandiosity. I'll criticize a lot of people. Maybe I should cut down on that, but it's not a gender thing. It's just kind of like a
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just
maybe making a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah, it was just an interesting. The way you made the comment was very interesting. That's the only reason I commented on it. So,
all right, man.
So, I mean,
it doesn't seem like it's the way you ought to treat people, you know, just like cut them off on a moment's notice. Don't give them any chance to.
I absolutely can do that. I absolutely do. So I'm one of those people that I just, life is really short, and I really don't have it. I don't have the time to go around and beg people to be my friend, because life is just moving, and I don't have time to stop. I don't have time to mend fences that somebody else broke, right? And I just don't do it. And it's not because I don't care. It's because it's just a cost benefit analysis, right? If it takes me 10 or 12 hours of debating and pleading and talking to someone to allay whatever issue they have, that's wasted time, unless that person really means something to me. But if it's just someone online, if somebody comes over to me, and you can actually see this, I sent out some DMs a while back, and there was somebody who was constantly trying to involve me, or basically constantly talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I'm not going to put a lot of effort into mending those fences, because this is an online relationship, if we even want to call it that. So, and to be honest with you, I think that most people think they have a bunch of friends, but they don't. I have like 2 friends. An argument can be made for 1. And those are people that I would get in my car right now and drive across country to help. And if you just count a bunch of people as friends, I'm not really sure how good a friend you can be, because most people don't have that. So I guess maybe I know that I'm a little weird about this, and I'm okay with it. But I think most people should put more thought into who they call friend, who they deal with, and who they don't deal with. It's just easier for me to not deal with people that drag me down in any way.
So do you think I'm maybe assigning more to a relationship than was really there? It was kind of more of a shallow thing, and there wasn't any type
Well,
of.
I think regardless of whether it is or not, if you look at somebody else's relationship and you try and assign your analysis to it, that's probably okay. But then to comment on it and to kind of find fault publicly, I think that might be something you need to look at, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, obviously in this case, other people were doing it. I mean, I just kind of came back there and just heard. I mean, I literally walked in on the conversation, so I was probably not as right as I normally would like to be. But would you not agree that if you and I have, we talk through DMs, we share photos of video games or something, or whatever, we develop a rapport, right? Not friends exactly, but we have a rapport online, and we hang out online or whatever. If we did that, and then you did something I didn't like, and I just said, all right, dude, that's cool, man, but I just don't want to hang out with you anymore. Or, even if I was nasty about it, said, hey, fuck you, man, get the fuck out of here. I don't ever want to talk to you again. And somebody else saw that, where would the utility of them commenting on it be?
I see your point of view. Like, I had somebody steal from me when I was in high school. A guy I thought was my really close friend stole my iPod, and I didn't provide any reciprocity with him. He was trying to, but I didn't trust him. I feel like those are one of those things. Once you steal from somebody, it taints it. So
sure,
yeah,
it's a bridge you can't come back across, right?
Yeah, I'm not so much in the mud. I was just curious on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fine to ask questions, and I would rather somebody actually ask me than just assume my position on something or things like that. Like, there are people that are like, well, you're friendlier with Flo than you are Andrew right now. And I'm like, well, no, that's not even close to the truth, but I do trust Flo.
I do think the cherry of this conversation was you saying that you think Mr. Wilson and Mr. Dusty are kindred spirits and very similar.
I think honestly, if the big problem that kind of separates them is Flo's kind of a troll, and he just, that's what he does. It's, and then he needs to do that. It's how he kind of earns his living in this space, right? And he's not a Christian, but beyond that, although we've moved him from atheist to agnostic, and we're going to work on him. We're going to bring him across that finish line soon. But, and Andrew's obviously very Christian, but they're both honest people. They both won't lie to you knowingly.
I don't think Wilson is an honest person. I think Flo is more honest than Andrew Wilson is.
I disagree. I disagree. But
I could be wrong.
Yeah. But
I think they have a health. They both have.
I don't think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think Andrew dislikes Flo, and I know Flo doesn't dislike Andrew. They butt heads. They have different opinions, and they're both strong-willed, as men ought be. And so this is you don't want to hear the crazy thing is there are people that sit and look outside looking in that are like, Flow State hates Andrew. If you like Flow State, you can't like Andrew because they're diametrically opposed. And in the same breath, they'll say, we don't operate in an echo chamber here, but everybody here agrees with everybody else. Do you understand the clash there?
Oh yeah.
You understand that the absolute hypocrisy and psychosis when you to do that. I look, I'm using myself as an example. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to say about anything else. I go anywhere I want to go. I'll go. If Sarah wasn't suing Andrew right now, I would go on Sarah's panel and I would talk to Sarah, and I would, probably wouldn't be very nice to her at this point, but she is I believe that at root, Sarah's a good person. I think she's doing very bad things. Both of those things can be true at the same time, right? I'm not willing to just, like a lot of people are like, well, Sarah's just a stupid whore and who cares, right? I'm not willing to do that. Now, I believe that at this moment, she is acting in that way, right? But I don't believe that ultimately she is. The same thing, and I think it's insane for someone to say, if you go to Flow State, you hate Andrew, or you disagree with Andrew, or you're not compatible with Andrew. That's insane. For me to really do my job, I have to go to Flows. I have to go to OGs. I have to go to to Prime Kai's, although I'm kind of sick of that. I have to go into these places to find the people that disagree with me on some level so that we can have those hard conversations and I can bring them into the light, kicking and screaming and yelling, but I'm going to bring them in. We can't win Flo over. We can't bring him into the light if we never talk to him or we make fun of him or we ridicule him. That's not how that shit works.
I agree. I think it depends on like what type of insecurity they have. If you find out what that is and you hammer them on that, absolutely not. They're going to withdraw and they'll put up all their defenses and all all that long entrenched and learned behavior, that'll all come up. So I agree there, but
Hey, Natalia, good to see you. It's been a minute. Glad to see you. Look, it is the case that if I have to talk to 1,000 whores to convert one back into a good woman, is it worth it?
I would say it is. I think,
Yeah, I think humanity says that that's what we're supposed to do.
If it's not worth it, then you're quantifying and I mean, it's an easy argument to make on the other end, but you are quantifying what a human life is worth. And that gets into some pretty messy territory. It's like the trolley problem, it's not a fun place to go.
It is exactly the trolley problem. Well, not exactly. It's a conflict of interest problem, right? Where if the friend of my friend is my friend, but the enemy of my friend is my enemy. And those people can't ever be the same people. And yet they are. And throughout, first of all, I'm not a tribal person, right? And I kind of abhor a lot of tribalism, where people just do stupid things for the sake of doing stupid things. And it's crazy to me the way people seem to act these days. And that's just me though, right? Like I'm not saying that I'm the best. I'm not saying that I have, and I'm doing things the right way. Certainly, there's a lot of criticism there that could be laid at my feet. Andrew himself has said, "Hey, I don't like that you go to those places. I don't like that you talk to these people. But you're still my friend." Do you understand the depth of that statement?
Yeah, he's unhappy with it, or not unhappy, but it doesn't make him feel good. He expressed that to you, but he understands that trying to place some type of boundary on you is also not okay. He was simply expressing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just being an adult, right?
Yeah. I don't think like the current political climate, the mental status of most of Americans are like just something that percolated up from their stomachs naturally. I think they're like predators preying on their good nature. So like a Democrat is like, oh, they're getting rid of due process rights. They're just running rampant over these people, and they're really bad. And on the other side, it's the same thing. And like you just said, partisanship is kind of a cancer that's manifested. It's the whole thing is nasty. And
well, partisanship is something that should be sparingly used, right? There's really nothing ultimately wrong with being partisan, right? But while you're being partisan, you can exercise tolerance, and you can keep your ears open. You can listen to what other people have to say. This is the dichotomy that we're dealing with in this specific little universe right now, and and it's pretty normal, right? If you like X, you can't like Y. Pepsi versus Coke, Lakers versus Bulls, whatever, right? This is the way that a lot of people, this is the only way a lot of people can express themselves. I like this, so I don't like that. I'm a Lakers fan, so if you're a Bulls fan, I have to hate you because it's just the way it is, right? And that's dumb to me, but it's really dumb when it goes to the ultimate level of I can't even talk to you.
Yeah, I guess kind of where what I'm getting at here is maybe my introduction to politics is in 2019. So this is my frame of reference. I don't have, you know, a long history of knowing what it was like back when, but my introduction was, you know, do this or you're going to really hurt somebody. Let's arrest them if they don't do it. Let's force it. The contradiction between like abortion and that, very confusing, very disorganized, very heated, rage inducing. I don't think that naturally happened grassroots from like neighbor to neighbor. I think people were kind of led that way through networks and, you know, things that were already established, and the way people found out what's going on in the world. And ever since then it's snowballed, and it's not any better now. If you hear somebody who really doesn't like Trump, they think he's the worst thing, you know, that's ever happened to this country. And then it's vice versa with like rigid Republicans who think that putting speech laws in the country will, you know, that'll snowball into something that you'll never come back from. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't think it's natural. I think people are being preyed upon, and I don't think it's always been this way, but I don't know, because, you know, 2019 for me, I was just blissfully ignorant prior.
I mean, I think that ultimately we're talking about extreme tribalism and extreme intolerance. Helping Hound says, wait, what year is it? Why are we killing each other for Caesar or Pompey from the 4th Legion? I mean, that's an apt comparison, right? And we can do this with, you know, like everything in our lives right now, but and to some degree, again, being part of a team, being a little bit partisan is fine, but you can take it too far, and I think a lot of people have taken it too far. Just my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. It's a sad state of affairs that we're in. Like the gerrymandering you were just talking about, that is the antithesis of a dying democracy. Like, I can't even bring myself to talk about it. It's just,
yeah,
makes me sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so are you new to the space, or I see that you're part of the MDD Discord. So
yeah, I don't know how to get rid of that. I joined their Discord and it just appeared by my name.
Oh yeah, it's just a tag. It's not a big deal.
But no, I think it's been what? It's been about 2 years I've been around the panel spaces. I was introduced to Wilson, and then from Wilson I leapfrogged to Flow State, and I think that's where I've been the most regular over time. And then from there, you know how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. Okay, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. I remember seeing you talking shit to some sluts before you even had a channel.
Yeah. Yeah. I was on whatever.
You're quite the patron.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. That was interesting. A week or so ago, somebody really insulted me. They were like, that I donated thousands to whatever, and I was like, no, it's tens of thousands. Don't insult me, bro. Don't shortchange me.
Like you suck because you gave them money.
Apparently, yes, I suck because I gave them money. Yeah. Yep. Becoming helping out somebody who's trying to do the right thing in the world. It's apparently a problem. I mean, personally, he says that sounds like a socialist to me that probably is destined to stay poor and live off of the government system. But what do I know?
I hope you weren't too ran down after that vicious comment.
Oh man, it's one of those things. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic, to be honest. The problem is that the show format's kind of changed a lot, so it's not really as first of all, it's not as entertaining to send in the super chats as it used to be, and then yeah, it's just the show's just changed, which is fine. It's grown, it's huge. I mean, it's really huge now. So I wish Brian all success. He hasn't been on in a while. He used to come on the show quite a bit, but he hasn't been on in a while.
No, that's the way things go.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, he's a busy guy. So,
He runs a very interesting show, very interesting indeed. I find it's even more interesting that the women want to come and do that. You'd think it would be something that it'd have a negative outlook on, but that's not the case at all.
Well, it is the case that that it's getting harder to find non-OnlyFans women or non-social media platformed women, right? So where they're trying to make money out of it. That it is the case that is what's going on.
Well, maybe it's time for him to buy a condo, maybe 3 other states, and do his man on the street finagling of.
Well, we had talked about a couple of years, well, right before I started this show, he was talking to people about trying to do like a franchise or do some other things. And he and I had talked slightly, Brian and I talked about maybe becoming kind of part of that universe, and where he would end his show and raid over into this one. But the problem is I don't really do super late night shows. Plus, it's just a different kind of deal. So maybe it would have worked out. I didn't do it. I probably still could.
I'd imagine you'd have to have the right temperament because, like, for me personally, I'd be burnt out on that after a month.
I don't know if temperament's the right way to put it, but certainly it's the right. What am I trying to think of here? Certainly, it would need to be the right timing. The problem is that I don't. When I was able to actually watch whatever live. See, the problem right now is I can't watch whatever live because they only do it on Sunday night, and Sunday I'm with my family. But that when I originally was on whatever a lot, I basically was my wife was traveling a lot, I was traveling a lot, and so Sunday nights I had time. Sunday and Tuesday nights I had time to actually watch a show live. Tuesday night more than Sunday night, and I could watch a show live and still get up the next day and take my kid to school. And since then, and I had just sold some stuff, and we weren't really doing. I wasn't really doing much. It's kind of in between businesses and in between things. And that lasted, almost a year, I think. And then I just got super busy. Like we bought a bunch of houses that, became part of our, the rental stuff that we have. That took a lot of time to rehab and do all of that. We've been looking at buying businesses. I think every few months we shake the trees and see what falls out, see if we're going to buy another business or two. And so it's just it's really not something I can do anymore to even watch a show live.
Well, this is probably like my abrasive side coming out again. But I think it's probably for the best because, that if you watch that type of entertainment too often, I think it's kind of cancer, the spiritual cancer. It's too divisive. It's constantly pointing out flaws and things like that. And they get wrapped up in too much of that without the other half, the goodness half, which I don't see a lot of there. It's not healthy.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. But I think that's true for some people. My case, probably not. I can be around very toxic people a lot, and I don't. It doesn't bother me because you're not going to shake my faith. You're not going to shake my personal opinions or feelings on things. I'm the disruptor. I'm the one that goes in and says, nah, brah, this isn't how this works. I don't care if you're a degenerate. This is the way, and that's it.
But it not, I mean, I'd say you're sub 10% of at least our country on when it comes to like people being filled up from the inside. And I think people who watch that type of stuff are confused and looking for things to make the world make sense, almost like they're doing a jigsaw puzzle. And that's not like women aren't the
I mean, I would disagree. I think that the problem you really have is that for the last 40 years, 50 years, men have slowly been told that they're wrong so many times that they lack the confidence to just say it with their full chest and be like, no, I'm not wrong. That I don't care. I
you
sat in
might not realize it, but you're making my point right now.
in the I sat in a meeting not long ago, and everyone was telling the speaker how great their idea sounded, and I thought it was the most retarded thing I'd ever heard in my life. Like all of it sounded like garbage. And I pointed out that this sounds like garbage. Like there's like nothing you've said actually makes sense to me. Walk me back through it. And the minute I said that, there were 7 or 8 guys who had just were on the verge of being willing to say it, but they couldn't say it. So while you make a point that yeah, to some degree that maybe I'm only part of 10% of the people who are full on the way I am. There's a lot of people who are really close, and every day they get closer until they are me, and then they bring other people along who are close but not me, but can be me, and with enough of the right encouragement and seeing that hey, you can actually stand up to this, and you can actually speak out without being a degenerate, without having to resort to fawning or being very timid. You can be strong. You can use a strong position and even strong language without being offensive. Um, and even if someone is offended, if it's the right thing to do, you just do the right thing. More and more people, honestly, are care more about doing the right thing than doing the accepted thing. And that's a very important distinction, and it's very positive for our society.
I
And
hear you.
so I think while you're a little bit in the doom and gloom phase, I'm out there enough. I talk to enough people that I see young men in their 20s, mid to late 20s, even that have had the experience of not having their ideas listened to, of not being respected, of having to sit through a meeting knowing that that everything that somebody was saying was total horseshit, and they didn't have the balls to speak up. And then, of course, a lot of them have had bad circumstances because of that, where they lost their job or whether they were blamed for something failing later or whatever. And they're growing. The problem is that that's something an 18 or 19-year-old should do, but it's taking until they're 27, 28 to do because of this retardation factor of growth. brought on by our schools, by our even our churches. So
I'm going to push back on you a little bit here.
Sure.
I think you're right that men are being constantly put down, told they're wrong, being pathologized, et cetera, et cetera. And that's not right. And it's causing a huge problem. But telling a guy, I find like when somebody says, go to the gym and, like that's going to fix it. The fix is the belief system, why they feel that. That's the first point. Second point is that red pill culture, things adjacent to that, it is from a victimhood point of view. So we go our own way because we have no choice. No choice victimhood, something like that. I don't think that is healthy thinking, and I also think that is flat out wrong.
Okay.
And I had a fucking third point, and it just eluded me.
Right.
Damn it, that was the best one too.
Okay. We throw grenades.
Oh! I was gonna say, oh shit.
We throw grenades all the time here. A helping hand. We throw grenades all the time.
But yeah, men are in a bad spot, definitely. I remember what I was going to say. This is why Jordan Peterson was so powerful as a messenger. It's because he preached a message of non-victimhood. That's what resonated with people deep down.
Yeah.
That's kind of what hooked people because it was something true. It was getting rid of that mind state.
Yeah,
I think that's the kind of.
I agree with that. I think that Peterson was important. I think that Shapiro's been important. I think that Matt Walsh has been important. I think all of these people are important. And you notice the one thing about all of the people that we're going to name is people. The minute they stand up, they have a ton of people trying to tear them down. And what we actually see, what young men are seeing, what men in their from their 18 and to the 30, they're what they're seeing, what they've been seeing for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years is men stand up, people try and tear them down, but they fail. Those men stay up, they stand up. Now, Peterson, obviously he went off the deep end. Like he had some underlying issues like many do. That doesn't detract from his work and his statement. That honestly, it doesn't. Matter of fact, it maybe makes it more poignant and more relevant that even people who are struggling in this way,
Real quick, Grid. Anson, just because you're miserable, I prefer it if you don't project your misery onto me. Thank you.
Yeah. Anson is just Anson, man. Don't take anything he says seriously. He's trolling mostly, but he's really a good dude. And I like him a lot. He's really, he's been a part of the show virtually since the beginning. As a matter of fact, he criticized me one night, told me I didn't understand some principles that I really felt like I did, and I challenged him back. And he actually said, "Go buy this book."
I've heard him talk. He's a '70s hippie. I mean,
yeah. So he's
it's a 1-to-1.
Yeah. So he conceived liberty. I did read the book. I don't agree with all of the points in it, obviously, but I will. If you challenge me, more than likely, I'm going to do it. I'm gonna go find the book. I'm gonna go research the thing you say is the right thing to do, and you should be. So,
I have a book suggestion for you if you really want. Once you see it, though, you can't unsee it.
What's that?
Well, I don't want to do it over this.
Oh,
maybe after.
You can throw
me. Or I'll throw it in your Discord.
Yeah, just throw it in the Discord. I love book titles, though. I've got a lot of good books that most people ought to read and try and find some meaning in. Death in the Long Grass by Capstick is fucking great. Matter of fact, all of the Capstick books are really, really good because it's mostly about hunting animals that kill people, or people that or animals that make a habit of lunching on humans, and it illustrates how life can and often is for other people that we don't get to see. They're fascinating books. Yeah. And another one that I really kind of push a lot is Thank You for My Service by Matt Best. I think it's a great book to read. So, yeah, it's really awesome.
So are they fiction, or are they more like self-help?
No, they're usually biographies or Capstick writes in kind of a not a journal style, but from his journal. So, Anson says,
well, that's
my position on some of the things we've disagreed about. Yes, and so have you, Anson. You've also changed your position, sometimes for the better. Yeah, and I'm obviously not retarded. So, what is up, Joe MF and Cool? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Tickle that algorithm. Hit that like button. Share the stream. You guys are on Facebook. I know you are. So throw it out there on Facebook and tell people to come over and listen to me. Although we're kind of winding down right now. I got about another half hour or so, and I did say that I was going to end early today. I've got to go. My son and I are going to go break some clays and shoot some stuff, which he needs to do for school, right? So he's on the school skeet and trap team.
Nice, man. You shoot a side by side or over and under?
He shoots an over and under, yeah.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
All right, well,
a very highly modified Browning Satori 725. And we took a $2,500 shotgun and put another like $3,000 in it. But it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I'll just stick with my cheap Remington, man. But it would be nice. It would be real nice.
Sure. Designs over on Twitch says, check out 19th century book, The American Democrat by James Fenimore Cooper. I have read part of that, Grand Designs. I have not finished it. It is not terrible to read, but it is not smooth. I like smooth. So, RLM. All
right, buddy. Yeah, thanks for the chat. I'm going to get out of here now. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. No problem, man. Just head on out whenever you like.
Have fun popping clays later.
Yeah. Well, it won't be long. It'll be about an hour or so. It's just going to take us a minute to get there. Thanks for coming up, Joseph. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to come up and hang out and talk shit or just ask questions or whatever, feel free to do that. All you need to do is go to my Discord. It is The Shed. I will throw down the Discord link right now. So there's the link to the Discord. Go to the Discord, check it out, go to the waiting room. And if I'm going to go watch the waiting room myself. I don't know that we have any mods in. Let's see if anybody's there. And say, I'd like an invite. I want to come up or need a link or any of those things. And I will get you a link because that's what I do. All right. And Grand Designs over on Twitch says, I get it. Have you ever read John C. Calhoun? I think so, but I could be wrong. It sounds familiar. What book did he write? What books did he write? So, yep. And if you don't want to come up, that's okay too. I'll sit here and talk forever. Well, probably not. For at least another 15 or 20 minutes because I do have to go. And, this is a great time to tell everybody that, hey, go to the merch store at gunprattle.net, buy your Grid One Motorsports merchandise. Gun Prattle merchandise coming soon, still designing it, still making it look cool. Once I decide it is cool, I will throw it up and you can go buy it at a very reasonable cost. Don't rip anybody off. Which, I prefer the dad hats. The dad hats are cool, but you don't have to buy a dad hat. There's t-shirts, there's coffee mugs, there's all kinds of things. And you can get yours there as well. It's very easy to do. Otherwise, you can support your channel, support your boy, or not, either way. I need to do a Saturday night chill stream, and maybe you can get up and chat with you. Absolutely, man. I will be on Saturday, and it will probably be a chill stream. Of course, I will end at about 11 o'clock on Saturday. But yeah, absolutely. We'll do a chill stream on Saturday. I know a lot of people have asked me about doing the debate show again. And we're pretty close to where we can do that. We would probably have to do the problem is the traveling that I do. Like I'm next Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but I think the following Saturday, I would not be able to do it because I have to get up early Sunday morning to go shoot a match. And then the following Saturday after that, I will be shooting a match, and so on and so forth. So it's a little bit, tough. A Helping Hound says he only reads books that never stand a chance at live action adaptation. Hey man, AI might make it happen, bro. AI is the wave of the future, is my understanding. If you are looking for a good book to read, I have a few suggestions. My man James Tarr, that's Tarr, James Tarr, is an excellent writer. If you like cool shoot 'em up books, his Whirl series, WHORL, is fantastic, and his dinosaur series, Bestiary, which is BESTAR. I'll have to find it, but James Tarr Bestiary is one of the best dinosaur not apocalypse, but dinosaur kind of World War III book series I've ever even thought about reading. It's amazing. And then if you're more looking for something like pandemic, end of world sort of stuff, he's got a series on that too. So my buddy James Tarr runs a gamut, and he's a super cool guy, super cool author. So go check out his cool stuff. He's wrote for Guns and Ammo. He was on the Guns America TV show. He's solid stuff. Uncle Gun says men still run everything. Problem is there are very few of them. That's true. The average bell curve is real. 90%, 93% are males, leaving a mere 7% of men that actually stand. I'm not going to fight you on that one. I think that's probably a valid observation. I can't validate it, but I think it is valid. So, and it is true that we seem to have a bunch of gutless wonders out there in life that can't do anything. We have them on the internet. It's very crazy. AI will be a tool for preachers to make more Christians slop. I don't think so, but it's definitely a tool. Definitely a tool. Nobody wants to come up and hang out, talk shit or anything. Got a book suggestion for me? The Israel Lobby and U.S. Policy by John Mearsheimer. Mearsheimer. I've got I generally don't read I generally don't read that sort of fiction, but I'll give it a try. Tersus with a projector. Sure. All right. Nobody wants to come up, really? I find this so fascinating. Fascinating. Well, I'm going to give Joseph a tip of the hat because he came up, he talked, he was very polite, worthwhile. It's a good discussion. He's a professor at the University of Chicago. Fair. I'll respect that. I will respect Chicago. RLM's not coming up. It's a sad state of affairs. That's all right. It's fine. You guys don't have to come up. Thoughts on geothermal energy? Sure, it works. What specifically do you mean by geothermal energy, Grand Designs? Make some no-slip shoes so us poors can wear them to work. Oh, there you go. I thought when I worked in the shop, when I wore boots, which wasn't often, I usually wore like Georgia boot or there's another one that I like really that fit my feet. It's more important to have shoes or boots that fit your feet rather than just expensive boots. So which thoughts on geothermal energy? There's a lot of geothermal energy things going around right now. The problem with actual geothermal like heating for homes is it works in some places, it doesn't work in others. So, well, yeah, geothermal absolutely can be made to make a window AC more efficient. It can also regulate temperature really, really well. But getting to that point is actually fairly expensive. Deep drilling for generating to power community. You mean like, do you mean like drilling for oil? Because that's what I always thought geothermal. I mean, I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, depends on how far you're going to go down for individual homes. So I have a friend of mine who built a building over in Centerville, Tennessee, and he used geothermal heating and cooling to keep the temperature basically the same all year round. He had it was ridiculously insulated, and he had some other things, and it does work. However, it's more of a stable environment than even a comfortable environment, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, I don't dislike it. I think there's a place for it for sure. I was trying to tempt Gibbs to come over here. He's not playing along. Well, Geoverse is out there. He might be watching. He might be hate watching right now. Oh, Fabian Liberty is on. Let's see if we can't get the Liberty Man himself on. Gibbs is faking gay. Not really. Water in the walls. Ah, my man. A helping hound. There we go. You think he's moving too fast to CDMs? Probably. He's busy this time of the day usually. I kind of like to harass him in the middle of the day because I think he's I think he's busy. I thought maybe my man Fabian Liberty would jump on. So he's not faking? No. Avarice is on. I don't know what's up with that. It's like a talk speed multiplier, probably. Hey, what's up, Sage Outcast? Comes in saying wrong. No proof again. Geothermal energy generation can also provide lithium source by separating it from the juice extracted deep in the ground. I have heard that. What's up, Abe Dinkus? Abe Dinkus, if you would like to come up, we haven't chatted in a while, although I was on your channel the other day. Just hit me over on Discord. I'll throw you a link. I've got about 30 minutes to chat. You knew a guy who had a house carved out of a granite mountain. He must have hated his previous cooling bill. Yeah, for sure. 100%. Sage Outcast comes in and just says that he's wrong and admits it and just moves on. Okay, cool, man. I know you're wrong. It's all right. Don't worry about it. You don't have to. You don't have to make the statement every time you come in that you're wrong. Although I do appreciate it. There's a guy here locally who buried some containers pretty deep. And I haven't been down into them, but supposedly they're like very comfortable all year round. And I've been in caves that are really comfortable all year round. Huge caves. As a matter of fact, you can go to, I forget which caverns they are, but you can actually camp overnight in them, which is cool. It's different. So a lot of you guys were here earlier when I was talking about some of this stuff. Does anybody have any input, feedback, criticisms? Thoughts on indoor agriculture like aquaponics? So I actually considered a hydroponics, which is the whole thing, the whole ecosystem. I actually considered that in a basement system when I was in Colorado. And I'm not sure if you understand the full hydroponic system, but you have tilapia or some other fish. Tilapia is usually best in the water, and then you have your hydroponic plants, right? And your plants provide the nourishment for the fish, as well as obviously tomatoes and corn or whatever you're growing in there. Probably not corn, but whatever you're growing in there. And then the fish provide the protein, and it's a system that just cycles over and over again. Don't really have any issues with that. So I think your off-grid home is 2 shipping containers on concrete pylons, all covered in gravel and earth. Very comfortable all year round. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is. Yeah, this guy's like, I think they dug down a total of 15 feet. And then, which is hard to do here because of all the stone, you don't go very deep and you hit rock. But I guess they dug down until they hit rock, and then they covered it over. I don't know if it's actually completely flat or not. I haven't been over there, but apparently it's very, very comfortable all year round. So, it's cool. You had a similar setup with local catfish, crayfish, and small panfish? Sure. Yeah. Hydroponic setups are pretty good, I think. I think the problem is that you start running into sustainability after a given point. I don't know how big the system has to be actually sustainable. But that's my understanding. I could be wrong. Well, if nobody's going to come up, I may end in the next 5 or 10 minutes because without someone up here to converse with, I'm just sitting here babbling, and I can go get ready to go break clays with my kids. So there's that. Oh, we got oh, Fabian. Any kind. Oh yeah, I got you. Noodle out of the spillway. That's funny. That's pretty funny. So again, I'm sorry I interrupted myself earlier. So we're looking at maybe doing the debate series again. I'm trying to figure out how to make it work with my schedule and be consistent, which I think is a big deal. We'll find out if I can make it work or not. And any input that you guys have, yes, no, maybe so, go over to the Discord and give me a shout out over there to see if it works. Everything with aquaponics or gas enrichment depends on what you are growing and what your medium is. If you have to emulate slash and burn in a space station. Will you starve before the cocoa fiber dries? I don't know. Yeah, hit me next time on the feminist stuff. It's ironic the sandwich has become a condescending statement. I think sandwich is a condescending statement, actually. Sandwich. So, but yeah. So I know that a lot of people, I kind of skip over parts of my life because we all do, right? Some of it's more interesting than others. But one of the things that, I did young in life when I was like really like strong and aggressive is, while I never had an aquaponics setup and I never lived truly off the grid, I did live in a cabin with no running water. We had privies, outside toilets, and we heated with wood. There was no electricity run to them, and I did that for couple of years. And there was a shower house where go down, take a shower, and there was a dining hall where I could go down and eat if I didn't want to cook on campsite. But I did that for a couple of years, and no problem. It worked out well. Learned a lot of skills, learned a lot of life lessons. Knowing how to start a fire in a thunderstorm, which materials will burn wet? The answer is sassafras. Sassafras basically is that stuff's basically gasoline. So, but yeah, you can find some sassafras limbs and twigs. You can get a fire started in the rain. So, but anyway, I think that everybody ought to do similar sorts of things. But the fact that a lot of people haven't just gives me a leg up, and means that other people are probably not going to do as well, and that's okay with me. I didn't make the decision for them. They just made bad decisions along the way. Pine needles as well. Yes. Napalm burns in the rain. That is correct. Napalm burns in anything. So, all right. Should we bring the debate show back, guys? Should we bring it back? Should we give it another run? Oh, my camera freaked out again. All right, give me a sec. I'll fix it. Anson, it does not look better with the blur. There's got to be something going on here. I have not touched the camera focus or anything, but it seems like the sensitivity somehow got cranked way up. So bring back the debate. Okay. All right. Well, let me see how we can make that work. If you're interested in me bringing back the debate series, hit me up in Discord. Let me know what your thoughts are. El Perro, that's my, if you don't know, and you're welcome to come up and chat for a minute if you want. If you don't know, my debate, I did two types of debate. I did long format debate like anybody else, but I also did a short format debate, which was, it was really a game changer because we had 3 judges and they were timed. We had a real moderator, so it was really good. 2D Bug. So my camera, I have 3 Lumix G100 cameras. They're really good, but I haven't touched this thing. But it seems like that the autofocus that has somehow become more sensitive. Ghost, I already had Joseph up and he's left. That was from a while ago. So I'm getting ready to end here in about about 10 minutes. We've got 10 minutes left in the show, guys. If you could throw some love my way, either super chats or you can just like the stream, share it out. It'd be great. But speaking of Wally's world, Wally really enjoyed the show. Basically, everybody had enjoyed the show. El Perro, the link, if you will go over to my Discord. Well, you know what? I'm just going to drop the link in the chat, and I'm not letting anybody up but El Perro, so you're welcome to try, but I'm not going to. There you go, El Perro. There you go. So there you go. There's the link for the day. All right. Gonna go break some clays with the boy. I've also got to arrange a bunch of work stuff going on. What was the stray I caught last night? Apparently, Admiral Gibbs is my gay lover, I guess. I don't know. Apparently, I didn't know that. It was news to Gibbs as well. But apparently, the fakest among the fake made the accusation that Gibbs was gay for me. I think that's weird, but I can't. There's no accounting for taste or intelligence. What's up, El Perro? How are you, sir?
I am well, sir. I am well. Good to be up here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
I've been on YouTube for a number of years, and it wasn't until about 4 years ago I was introduced to the panels and the debate platforms and stuff. And I see the drama, the groupthink safe space drama centers merging with that debate thing. And this is the first thing I saw with Andrew Wilson and the blood sport debate. The blood sport before debate kind of distracts from the debate and tells you it's not about debate, it's about blood sport. So, and that's one of the things I noticed when I first started joining panels was it seemed like a lot of hazing was going on, the ad hoc character attacks and stuff. And I got to thinking about it, and you really can't let that kind of stuff distract you if you're really in this for knowledge. And that's the basis of these debate platforms, is you have to have an audience that wants the debates. Otherwise, we end up with all these drama centers. And so I think a debate platform, more along modern day debates, where they have a certain etiquette and diplomacy and they stick to the topic, is more what is needed for people to be able to transfer that intellect. Otherwise, the intellect doesn't get transferred.
Yeah. So my problem with all of the debate shows, not just VK, not just in, all of the debate shows, there were two things. First, they're either too short or too long. There was no middle ground, and they weren't that entertaining. So if you want entertainment, there's a format for that. The second thing is that they were all popularity contest. So what I did, I don't know if you ever saw any of my debate, my short format debate shows, but basically you got 1 minute each. So if you and I were debating, I would get a minute, you would get a minute to make our opening statement. Just this, I'm El Perro. This is my worldview. This is my position on this subject. Let's get into it. Short, sweet, to the point, no filibustering, no long belabored points, no, any of that. Then you get 5 minutes, back and forth. Now that's moderated, and as moderator, if I think that you're getting off the top, and I have done this, if somebody got off topic, I would bring you back. I would say, hey, do you understand the prompt? Because I don't want to listen to somebody for 5 minutes who doesn't understand, or I go back and forth. And the other person's like, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. So we've had that. And then and then at the end of the 5 minutes, we had 3 judges, and the moderator is not a judge. Moderator is moderator. 3 judges that voted on who won. And so it was 7 minutes start to finish, then the voting, and then you got the next debate up. And it goes really pretty quickly. For the most part, I had a couple of problems. First, I should have assigned prompts and not. Basically, I was saying, "Hey, what do you guys want to debate? Here's the subject, whatever." And so, and then after the judgment, whoever won or lost, the judges, the other debaters, and me would all have an opportunity to critique the debates. So if you and I were debating and you kept using ad hom or you just weren't debating the right subject or whatever, the judges might say, hey, you could have won this thing, except you resorted to ad hom and used all your time making fun of this guy and going for the gotcha rather than laying down relevant points that would support your argument.
Absolutely. And I think that's an important aspect in these debates, particularly on this panelverse thing where we have a lot of immature people that will do that. If you really, again, if you want the intellect to spread, then you have to be able to produce a process to do that. And that judging and determining who's the winner and then going back and reviewing and giving your opinions, that's a great aspect that most debates do not have.
Right.
And I think it's very important.
Yeah. Everybody loved it. And to be honest with you, we would have probably kept doing it, but back around right after Thanksgiving, I was just too busy, man. Like I had so much going on, and then going into Christmas and all of that, I just never was able to really, basically in November, I did the debate show. I did the IRL debates. And then after I came back, I had basically one good debate show after I came back, maybe 2 weeks. And after that, it was just, I was really busy. And then really, and then the judges, we had some issues, a couple of the judges were away because they had family obligations and other things going on. And, and I was just like, hey, I'm not going to sit here and just have stupid, 3 people debating and that's the end of the night. I'm not going to do it. So I just decided to kind of halt it for a moment. And, we'll
give it a chance to grow, and you'll have that round robin of debate panelists.
Yeah, it's a round robin. Yeah, I represent it as a short format round robin single elimination debate show.
Yep.
And
I think,
and at the end of the night, you won $100. If you debated and you lasted, then you won $100.
nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think the motivation there, you know, the intellect is again the drawing of a good crowd. If you're not going to draw for that transfer of intellect, you're not going to get the right crowd. You're going to get the drama queens that don't care about the intellect.
Yeah, I think we could do it now again. I think also, you know, you had Sarah's blow up. You had everyone trying to fill Sarah's whole. Literally, everybody was trying to make a debate show after Andrew and Sarah kind of went at each other, and then then of course, and I have my, I was gone for a couple of weeks because of the thing I did in November with the debate. The live debate show, which was amazing. We're going to do that in Texas again. We're going to, I think we're going to, I'm still trying to figure out how to pay for it because I'm not going to pay for it this time. Last time I paid for everything. This time I'm not going to. So as soon as I figure out whether we're just going to charge a little bit of an entry fee or maybe a door fee or something like that, maybe we'll charge, but I don't want to because I want people to come and have a great time for free, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm certainly on board with it. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, Cleaner, Anson, and I will get together and we'll see what we can come up with. And, it's because Cleaner and Anson are two of the judges. And the thing is that my three judges were all diametrically opposed. They did not agree with each other. So it wasn't like if you had all three judges vote for you, you made your point.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I like is people that a plethora of experience and ideologies on that panelship, knowing that the discussion is supposed to motivate them to change their mind. See, when I get into a debate, I'm not trying to change the other debater's mind. I'm trying to change everybody's mind.
So the purpose of the debate, in my opinion, is not to change minds. It's to present your point in a way that's understood clearly so that someone might change their mind.
Right. Better said. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for having me up. And like you said,
and actually it is time for me to get out of here. Thank you very much for coming up, El Perro. I'm going to go grab my son. He gets out of school early today. So we're going to go bust some clays and have a great time. I will be back this evening. I will be early. I will be here at 7 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to be a little early. We're going to talk gun prattle. We're going to be talking the events I've got coming up. We're going to talk about some equipment. We're going to talk about some other good stuff like that. Really cool. It's going to be awesome. You guys should show up.
All right. We'll be blessed.
Then at 8 o'clock, we'll start the actual and Unreasonable show. So have a great rest of your day, guys. Everyone be wonderful out there. And we'll let my son wave goodbye when he was, all smiley and stuff.